Hi there, I'm Jan from JB Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm back with my next tutorial, and this one is for my Technique Tuesday series. So there are several videos on the channel already. And today, for our technique, I thought we'd have a look at using washi tape. So I don't know about you guys, but I have got tons of this stuff. It's one of those things that I've sort of bought very addictively. And I've got a box full, which I'll show you in a second. But I've gone sort of very monochrome today, black and white. I just had a look through and fancied using these particular rolls of washi tape, and it's come up nicely with the black and white. So I've got all the washi in the background to create my background with a little bit of added stamping. And then I've incorporated a couple of embellishments and some twine just to give this a little bit of a, sort of focal point on here. Again, I've just got a tiny little bit with some of the scraps left over in the center, and yeah, nice slimline card today, slightly smaller than the I suppose it is a DL, but slightly smaller than what I normally make, and that was actually came about from the size of the panel that I've used on the front, so I'll talk you through all that. So pop that to one side. And I will bring in my box because I wasn't kidding, I have got a ton of washi tape. So this is what I actually keep it in. It's all labelled up there. And if I just take the lid off, this is just a selection of, I do try to keep it tidy. It tends to get a bit mixed up. I've got lots of different colours which I do try and keep together, but it doesn't always work that way. Lots of different type of washi. I've got the traditional, sort of patterned washi, lots of different pictures, things like that. I've got some that has got metallic elements on. Yeah, just as I've bought it, some of it single reel, some of it in packs, things like that. I've also got the ones that I use quite a lot excuse me, in my you've seen me use this in some of the videos before, the ones that have the tickets and things on. So you buy these as washi tape and the backing comes off. And what I tend to do with these, I've just got a few out just to show you how I actually work with these, is I actually adhere these to some cardstock like this, just plain scraps of card. So that was actually off this particular roll, and then cut them up just to make tickets. I've got another one that's got larger tickets on here. Where's my seal gone? I'm just here. So if we just pop this one back, this has got really nice large pieces on here that you can use. And again, I tend to sort of cut into these. That one's defying being opened now. There we go. So you can see this has got much bigger tickets on. So again, all I do is take them off, add them onto some scrap card, cut them out, and I've got them ready to use. You can see the one there with the stamped edge. These are great, for popping into backgrounds, cutting up, just tucking behind things. Now I've not used those ones today in my my design because I've stuck to the black and white. That was the ones off this little pink roll. So yeah, just keep those handy if I need them for other elements. There are different types as well. This one's actually what's called PET. It's more of the washi tape has quite a translucent, almost like a tissue type background to it, whereas this one has got a clear synthetic background to it. So when I unroll this one, you can see it's got these beautiful pieces that you can then remove and decorate your designs with. So yeah, lots and lots of different ones. We'll pop those back in the packet for now. Leave those in there, and then I have got extras because they didn't all fit nicely in the box. I've got a couple of plastic containers that I keep my gold and black and white ones in, really. So I've got a lot that's got gold print on, and then this is where I've taken my choice today for the black and white one. So I've just taken a few out of here to use for the design today. So I'm going to pop that down here out of the way onto the floor and bring in the sample that we're going to have a go at today. So I've got several different rolls. This one I go to a lot. This is just a reel that's got like a text on it. So just nothing specific, it is literally just random text, and I'm going to use that in the background today. I've got one that's got what looks like a film strip, and then the other ones are all just random ones that I took out of my stash. So I've got one that's got little arrows, one that's got like a scallop border on, this one's just got little horizontal lines on, and then one that's got quite a glittery finish. So those are what we're going to be using to create our background design here. And I'm going to bring in the panel that we're going to work on. So I've actually used a die to cut this today because I like that like stitched edging around it, and it measures approximately 7.5 inches by 2 7/8. So if you don't have a die, you can always cut a panel to that size with your guillotine or your paper trimmer. But that's what we're actually going to work on, and I've just popped a couple little pencil marks in the center here just so that I know whereabouts I'm working to in the middle of the design. So the first thing I'm going to do before I actually start adding the washi tape is pop some detail on the background. And I've used this stamp before. This is a go-to one that I've had. It's an old Stampin' Up stamp, and it's just a series of dots. You can see here where I've got this sort of almost like a splatter background. So I'm going to use a nice solid dark black ink. So I've got my VersaFine Clair ink there, and all I'm going to do is ink up this one and just place some randomly for the time being, and then when I've got the washi tape on, I can see if there are any gaps that need filling in. So I'm just going to bring it sort of at an angle up to the top there, like so. And then I'm going to flip it round and do the same at the other end. And then once I've got the washi in place, then I can decide whether I want to put any more on later on. So I'm going to do the same up here. So I've got some bits just popping out here and there at the top and bottom, like so. Just give that a wipe for now. And then we can bring that back into play later if I need it. So the next thing I'm going to do is start popping the washi in. So we'll pop that one to one side, and I'm going to take a length of the text one. Here we go. Do you know, it does this on me regularly. It starts to tear, mainly because I'm too eager to take it off the roll. You do have to be gentle, but I am going to tear it anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So again, let's just see if we can get that to come off as one piece. There we go. And I want it about the length of my design, and then I'm just going to tear a bit off there, and I'm going to actually pop it on my desk, because what I want to do is get some torn edges. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little piece off here. It's quite a wide one, this. Pop that to one side for a second, and I want this nice torn edge here. And then I'm going to do the same going the other way. So we may need to sort of incorporate the bit that's already torn. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to take that piece off anyway. And all these little scraps you can fit into the design here. So again, just bringing this down, and then we'll incorporate all these in place. So the first one I'm going to pop in place, and again the text, it doesn't actually read as such, so I'm not worried about which orientation it's going, but I wanted to have this sort of on the outside here. So I'm just going to roughly center this top and bottom, and then pop this towards one side, and then I want to do the same down this side as well. So I'll use that skinny piece here and put the torn edge to the outside, because we're going to work over the top of it with layers of the other tape. So again, this one can go roughly the same kind of top and bottom, and then just with a little bit of that torn edge peeping out, and that's sort of going to be the boundaries of the outside area of my my design. And then what I'll do is I'll pop some of these little bits that were left just in the middle here, and these will probably get covered as we're working through the design, but it's all about, again, you know, I'm always harping on about layering things, aren't I? So yeah, I love those different layers. So again, this one can just fill in as like a background. You say, well, you've covered up a lot of the dots, and I have, you're right, but we can add to that when we finish the design. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to start and take some of the other pieces. So we'll go with a length of the stripy one, and again I've made sure I've got a torn edge at the top. And now this is just, you know, you can go wherever you want with this. It's not, there's no sort of real technique involved. It's about just building up those layers, and I want some of them longer and some of them shorter. So that one's going to stick out above and below. Okay, and I want to have the edges slightly more. I've torn that one quite straight, so I'm just going to lift it a fraction, and I actually want them to be more of an angle, so we'll just snip that off. That's better. Look at the bottom there. And then we'll bring in the next one, so we'll go with a little bit of that one that has the border on here. So again, I want different lengths, so this one's going to be a wee bit shorter, and I'm just going to take that one right up next to, so I'm actually working over the top of that text one now, but you can still see elements of it through the design. Yep. I want to have this one, this is quite a prominent design, so I want to have this one sort of down, not quite centered. And again, I'm just going to make sure that I've got that nice torn edge on the top here. And then this one's going to run pretty much sort of from top to bottom here. Quite tall, and probably one of the longer pieces at the bottom. So again, yep, I'm happy with that. It's not quite straight there, Jan. Oh, you know what I'm like. So yeah, the beauty of washi is that it just peels on and off. So again, we can just bring that down. That's better. A little bit straighter. Bearing in mind that we're going to have our little cluster of embellishments here. And then again, it's just about repeating where you want to go with it. So we'll go with a bit more of the scallops there. And I'm going to turn them the other way this time so that they're facing in the same as the opposite way as this one, like so. And then I've got those little arrows. So whatever you've got, you know, if you've got the washi lying around, have a go, just to have a look. It doesn't have to be monochrome. You know, you can go with a pattern of colours. So again, I've got a shorter piece of this one because this is quite a bold design. So I'm going to bring this one in here. And I'm just sort of going up towards the edge of the piece that I've already laid down to make it look as if it's, you know, sort of coming together. And then the gold one I've got that's got a little bit of glitter in. This one's not quite as sticky as some of the others, so I do tend to pop a little bit of glue under this one. And then the tricky part's actually finding the edge of it here. This one's evading me. Where have you gone? There. I can feel it. There we go. So I'm going to get a couple of shorter pieces of this. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I've got those torn edges, like so. And then I'm just going to bring in my tacky glue here. And on the back of it, I don't know why this one's not as sticky. I think it was probably less expensive, sort of more of the inexpensive range. And again, now we've got a little bit of glue on there, I want to start overlapping in places. So not to cover it all totally, but to just maybe add a little bit in here like so. And then I want a little bit to offset that at the other side. So again, I'm going to do the same again. Little bit fiddly, but worth it in the end. So just a few tiny little dots of the wet glue's helping this one to stay in place there. And this one's going to come probably a bit higher up, but at that side. And then, do I want any more? It's knowing when to stop. I think we're just going to come that way a little bit. So I'm going to bring a bit more of that little skinny one into play at this edge here. And again, I want to stagger those lengths to create that abstract look there. That one's not quite up to the edge. So again, I want them to sort of look as if it's all one piece there. There we go. So that's looking okay. I think I'm quite happy with that. So we'll pop all those to one side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that stamp back in now. And just where we've sort of covered areas of it, I can still see little bits here and there, but I want to add a little bit more to it just to give that bit of abstract. So I'm going to take a little sticky note because I don't want to stamp on top of here. It will take too long to dry. And then I'm just going to stamp one edge of this. And where I decide I want to have some more, I'm just going to mask it with this and pop just a few here and there. So again, I think we maybe need a few more up here. That bit's a bit too tall, I think. So we'll take the edge off that one. And then I can actually bring some more out at the top there. So again, just masking over what I've already got there. Like so. And bringing those now up that side. And we're going to have the embellishment cluster there. So again, just a few, I think a little bit higher up here to match that bit. I think that's looking okay. Just one more. Again, it's knowing when to stop. I am the world's worst. I'm just going to come down this side here and bring a few out just at that side. And again, it doesn't matter if they overlap, you know, they're all doing the same job. It is literally, they want to be in the background there. So that's it for the ink for now. I'll just give that a little scrub and clean it up properly later on. And then we can actually start and put this together, ready to receive those embellishments. So I'll bring some of the other pieces in. I've actually got, I've made my own card blank for this one because, as I say, this was slightly skinnier than what I would normally work with for a DL card. So I've actually gone for a piece that's 8 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I've scored it down the centre at 3 1/2 inches so that we can just make that really nice, tall, slimline card, and it will fit in a DL envelope. Okay, and then I've got a nice black matte layer to go on top, and that one is 7 3/4 by 3 1/8. Okay, so I've come down 1/2 inch there just to create a nice border, and we're going to lay this one on top to give that little black edge all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to stick these two together, and then I want to add a little bit of something else to it before we get to that last stage. So I'm going to bring out my Collall glue. So this is the all-purpose glue. I tend to use this most of the time when I'm adhering paper and cardstock together. This one's going to go on top of here, and again you can just wriggle it into place like so. I'm going to pop the card blank to one side for a second, because what I want to do now is, if I've done a vertical design like this, I like to sort of cross it at some point. So in this instance, I've just brought in a piece of twine. So I've got some black and white twine in my stash again, and I literally just wanted to sort of come across here to bisect that vertical design. So I'm going to pop that in place before I actually put the background onto the card base. So I'm just going to grab a couple of pieces of red line tape, and then we can pop this. I'll do it in roughly the same place here, so it's about a third of the way down. And then once it's on the back, I can use my red line tape to just stick it in place there. So again, pop that across horizontal. I'm just going to eyeball that it's about straight. You can measure if you wish, and then literally secure that piece on the back. So that's going to hold that down, and it's not that deep that it's going to create a problem for the background sticking down. So I've just burnished that into place, and then I may as well take the backing off here because it's all extra adhesive on the back of the card, but I am going to go back to my all-purpose glue again to pop this together. So again, I'm going to coat the back of this one, including the twine. Will help keep it in place as well. And then we'll add this to our actual card base now. So that one's ready to go on here like so. And again, having that wet glue, it just gives you that time to get everything in position. So just to help that stick for a bit, I'm just going to bring in that block and pop that on there. And then I'll show you what I've done as far as embellishments are concerned. So we've got 1 or 2 bits and pieces in here. So I wanted to lift away from the design, and I've done that by actually cutting a piece of vellum just out of thy little scalloped edge die. So that's going to go above the twine. It's going to go across either side of the twine. And then I've stamped out my sentiment here, just using a little banner die to cut that out. I do need a couple of foam pads. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a foam pad top and bottom so that when we put this in position, the twine is going to go either side of it. So I just got a couple of square ones here, and I'm going to pop one at the top and one at the bottom. And then what I did was actually cut a little tiny scrap of white, and you can see that script washi tape again in play. So this is going to sit over the twine. Then we're going to have our little sentiment there, and then I've just cut a butterfly out of some black, slightly pearlescent cardstock scraps there. You can just see it's got a little bit of a pearlescent finish on, and then I've added some pearls in the centre. So what we're going to do then is we're going to start and build this up. That one's actually in place now. That's not quite straight, Jan. What happened there? So let's just see if we can wriggle that about that end. I think when I put the block on it, it's probably moved a wee bit. That's better. There we go. So I'm going to take the backs off the foam pads there. Because I'm going onto the washi tape again, I'm just going to pop in a little bit of the wet glue on the back of those pads. And then I'm going to put these two either side of that twine so that the twine goes through the middle, and we've got this one bridging the gap there. I've also put some foam pads on the back of part of my sentiment to bring it up to the same height here, like so. So again, we can take the backers off those, like so. Again, I'm going to go with a bit of wet glue on the back here. And this one's just going to come and run parallel with that washi tape there, like so. And then my little butterfly, I am just going to stick with his body and then let the wings free. And this one's going to come just onto the edge of that rectangle that we cut there as an embellishment. And then I just wanted a little bit of movement on there as well. So I've done another piece of the twine, and then I just used my paper punch here to cut out some little hearts of the scrap that was left, and I've trapped them on either side of the end of the string just to give, you know, a nice little finish. And all I'm going to do with this one is I want to stagger it so that they're not quite at the same height, and then we're going to pop this one up into the top here. So what I'm going to do is pop a little bit of glue into that gap under the vellum there, and then get this one in position with that cut down kind of staggered height, and then with my pokey tool there, just going to poke it into place, and the glue will grab it and hold it in place there. So yeah, we can pop that one just onto the glue, make sure that it's caught it, and we've got that in position. And it just gives a little bit of movement on the front of the card there. Let the glue dry, Jan, before you start moving it about. There we go. And that's pretty much where I'd got to. So all I've done now is add an internal part to it. So again, this is the same size as the matte layer was here. And with that same all-purpose glue, we can pop this on the inside. So I've actually just used a few little bits of washi that were left over on the bottom here. I've paper punched one of those hearts just to bring it in line with what was going on the front. And then we've got our internal piece with the greeting. So it says, "Hello, beautiful, so proud of you." Okay. So that's the finished design. The only thing that I did to this one was, of course, it's got a few little extra pearls and things on. I've got a couple on the sentiment here. I've got them coming through the card just to add a bit more detail to it. So that was where I arrived at with my original design for you guys. So using the washi tape, get it out of the box if you've got it and give it a go. And again, I got a bit carried away, to be honest, so I have got some other samples. I don't normally do this for Technique Tuesday, but I did get carried away and I did want to show you where else I'd gone with this. So I did a whole background, literally just a square of cardstock, and put the same choice of washi that I'd used on this one just in panels here. Now I went horizontally purely because I'd got the script on here, but there's no reason, if you know, I mean, the script would have looked, it's not legible, so it would have looked okay that way, but I've actually gone with an ordinary opening card for this one. So this is just a little 5-inch square one, and then I've done a happy birthday design on the vellum in that pearlescent black again. So that was one design. And then this is a little 6x4, and again I've gone vertical across the middle, so it's got a panel on top of here, split it across the middle, and just a nice simple sentiment. So those were using the black. That's all the same washi tape that I started off with when we did the original design here. And then, you know, things got the better of me. You know me, guys. You know how much I love my pink. So just pop those to one side. I decided to recreate this one with some of my pink washi. And you can see we've got pretty much the same design. And I've just replaced the black with the pink. Used the pink for the butterfly. Added the pink pearls on here. Pink matte layer. I didn't bother doing the inside of this one, but just to give you a contrast. You know, black and white's not everybody's thing. It does make an excellent masculine card. You know, swap this out for maybe a star or something like that, and you've got a nice card for the fellas in your life. But yeah, I couldn't resist popping the pink in there just to see what it looked like, and it looks equally as nice. I'd be struggling to choose between them. So we've got a really nice selection there using those washi tapes. So yeah, if you've got them hiding away in your stash, get them out, have a go, show me what you've been up to. So I'm going to leave it there for today for Technique Tuesday, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed watching the video, give it a thumbs up for me. It does help the channel, and I know a lot of you are subscribed already, but if you haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate that too. And I will be back very soon with another tutorial for you. So bye for now.